America, my name is Osei-Frimpong. I come to you every week. Let's talk politics today. Vice President Kamala Harris and the woman who could be the next president of these United States picked Tim Walz as her vice presidential candidate. Now, Tim Walz is an interesting guy from Minnesota, public school teacher, congressman, a decent white guy. And what's interesting to me about it that you won't hear other places is I'm pretty sure that Nancy Pelosi picked him, because Nancy Pelosi and Walz served in Congress together, and he actually helped her a lot in 2006 when he won over an increasingly Republican district with his folksy charm. And so Nancy Pelosi got rid of Joe Biden. Nancy Pelosi wanted Kamala Harris, installed Kamala Harris, and Nancy Pelosi picked Tim Walz over anybody else. And what's bizarre to me about that is that everyone's basically fine with the fact that Kamala Harris doesn't believe in anything except abortion. And she's got that good Indian hair, that good black hair that she really is a part Indian. And so she's got both the abortion vote and the black girl magic vote, which is unfortunately a sizable demographic in the voting populace, because white women don't care about anything. They don't have political problems. That's what they have men for, and a lot of them. and the black women haven't really gotten anything from the federal government, so a lot of black people don't really care about like federal government policies, because since Reconstruction, the federal government has not really done its job with respect to us, so we're used to voting on symbolism. This is why you can be a black Democrat in the South and not really expect the government to do anything, because the government really hasn't done enough, right? So we're used to voting on symbolism, because if the government did its job, we'd actually be secured rights. So Nancy Pelosi goes and says Joe Biden sit down. Joe Biden has to sit down. She picks Kamala Harris, and then she picks Tim Walz. And since Kamala Harris, there's no reason to believe that she's actually has principles or ideas of her own. Just said, okay, it makes sense. It vibed well. And Nancy Pelosi does whatever the donors want. So, and she's not an unsavvy politician. So I think Tim Walz is fine. For example, I'm probably going to vote for the Harris-Walz ticket for Tim Walz, because I think Tim Walz will hold steady. So whatever situation you're in right now isn't going to get any worse if Tim Walz is the VP, because Harris doesn't care about any actual policy, and Walz is like a sensible guy, like with regular white guy sensibilities. So black people are not doing particularly well now, but we're not going to do any worse with the Harris-Walz ticket, which I don't know. With Trump, we might there's a higher risk and higher reward. So it's good. So if I'm Trump's tickets, if I'm Trump people, if I'm with the GOP, and I'm saying what you have to do now is go hardcore on jobs and the economic arguments, because Harris isn't going to be able to talk about that kind of stuff because she doesn't care. Harris does not care if you work a job. There's no way that she can be convincing in caring that you work a job. So if you're the GOP, you go hard on jobs and manufacturing and honestly protectionism and America first and get Americans working. And you make Harris talk about the economy in a granular way because she's just indifferent to it. Like she got her jobs through the alternate economy. She got her first appointed position, and like she does not have a serious economic platform, which is fine for her and for the base of Democrats who don't really have an alternate economic platform. Actually, their alternate economic platform is sex, so they care about sexual politics. And so she'll get the abortion vote, and she'll get the black girl magic vote, which is a lot of people who want to feel like they're progressive just because they're voting for a black woman. And that'll be that. And then people like me who'll trust that when things go to actual policy about working people, they'll just default to Walz as the most sensible white guy in the room, and the default won't be that bad. It won't be that bad. It won't be great, but it won't be that bad. And they're all genocide. They're all pro-genocide. So, plus, there's a possibility that Harris screws up so badly that Walz has to take over for a variety of reasons anyway. There's that. Do not underestimate that. And it'll force the GOP to actually come up with substantive arguments, because you can't just win going against Harris now, because Walz is a sensible backup who there's every reason to believe will be in the room when decisions are made. So I think it's good for the race, and it forces the GOP to have to say things and do things and build up their base, because they're not necessarily running against Kamala Harris, because you can't run against Kamala Harris, because the people who are voting for Kamala Harris aren't going to listen to you. They don't care. Now you're running against Tim Walz, and that's a little bit tricky if you're the GOP, because Tim Walz is not the greatest candidate for the GOP to run against. So I think the GOP is in trouble. I think it'll make them up their game or lose the election, and that's where we are right now. And I also think that the next generation of Democrats is going to sound more like Tim Walz, because they can't be Kamala Harris. Does that make sense? I hope that does. All right. If you appreciate what I'm saying, which I think you do, because I'm giving you a quality of insight you're not getting everywhere else in the media, go ahead and go to www.funkyacademic.com and kick in $5, $15, or $50 a month, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing. I wanted to do a different show today. I might do it after this is done. All right, take care.